Welcome back, everyone, to the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Just a couple weeks on from our second round at Spa, we return to Zandvoort for round 3 of the championship. And we come here to Zandvoort in what is probably going to be one of the most crucial qualifying sessions of the season. Drivers have had 4 collective test sessions to get ready for this one in mixed conditions so far. So in what is looking like we could have mixed conditions throughout the day, possibly, it's been a very useful session for them. Now, if you're new to Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, first of all, welcome to the championship. It's fantastic to have your company. My name is Chris McCarthy. A pleasure to welcome you to the series if it's the first time you're joining us, and we're on a great package this weekend as well. We are going to be supporting DTM, lots of fans in. You can see the yellow flags all down the pit straight there. We've got a huge amount of support in this weekend. The drivers are going to be doing a meet and greet tomorrow morning. We're going to be going live, though, as I said, for qualifying. This is going to set the grid for race 1. 2 races coming up this weekend. We'll have another qualifying session tomorrow, and that will set the grid for race 2. So the qualifying format for you, we split the grid into 2 groups. The groups are formed by championship position. Those first, third and fifth, so on, go into Group A. Those second, fourth and sixth, so on, go into Group B. For qualifying practice 1, Group A will go out first. For qualifying practice 2, Group B will go out first. Essentially, the quickest group will form the inside row of the grid. The slower group will form the outside row of the grid. That's essentially how it works. You're fighting for what row of the grid you will start on. So Group A is out on circuit first, and that contains our championship leader, Rafa Kamara, who leads the championship quite comfortably. Before we get into that, let's clear up some changes we have to the grid for this one, because sadly a couple of drivers not with us, and we do wish them well. Dorian Pan is sadly having to sit this one out after picking up an injury at the second round at Spa. Unfortunately, it means she's also going to be missing the 24-hour of Le Mans next week as well, where she was due to take part for Iron Dames. She's made the decision that she's going to sit this race out and sit that one out in order to get better for her championship attack in F1 Academy. So Dorian, we wish you all the best if you are watching, and we hope to welcome you back to the championship very, very soon going forwards. I'm sure she will be back for what will be round 5 of the season at Mugello, with round 4 due to clash with F1 Academy. Sadly, we also will not see Roman Bielinski for Trident. Got on the podium last time, got his first pole position last time as well. He is not going to be here after a road accident, and Roman, who is currently recovering I hear that he has now left hospital, Roman Bielinski. I'm sure watching on, hope you're getting better, mate, and we hope to welcome you back to the championship very, very soon. That car will not be filled, so Trident running 2 cars, the Iron Dames team running the 1 car. We do welcome back some drivers, though. We welcome back Nikita Bedrin. Of course, last time he was racing at Monaco in FIA Formula 3. He is back this time with MP Motorsport. And we welcome a brand new driver, Costa Toparis, not with us this round for Kick Motorsport by Evans GP. His seat is being filled by a brand new face to the championship, and that is John Bennett. So great to see John Bennett racing with us. He's a familiar face to those of you GB3 championship fans, and he did very, very well yesterday. He's going to be racing here in GB3 in just a few weeks' time. He's currently 5th in that championship this season, a regular visitor to the podium. He was in the top 10 in that championship last year. He's in this session as well. He's in the number 43 car, blue and white livery. We'll look out for John Bennett throughout the session. John Bennett I don't think came into this with any expectations, but if you watched Paddock Live yesterday when I spoke to him during that, those expectations I think may have changed. I think this is John Bennett coming down, is it? Yes, that might be him coming across the line. So blue and black livery, shall I say. I have to kind of readjust after missing around there. There goes John Bennett past us, and he currently goes to P2. So great to see John Bennett racing with us. Now, let's go into championship very quickly whilst the cars are building up. It tends to be the final sort of 6 minutes where the times really go in. Rafa Kamara leads by 60 points after becoming the 5th driver to take a double win. Won both races at Spa, joining the likes of Tim Tramnitz, Martinez Stenchorn, Paul Aron and Gregoire Saucy. He's 60 points ahead of Evan Julter, Noah Stromstead a further 3 points back. Then it's Tuka Tapanen, James Wharton, Brando Badua, Ivan Dominguez, Sandro Giusti is 8th, Roman Belinsky 9th, sadly not here of course, Enzo Deligny, the Red Bull Junior 10th. No Dutch drivers here sadly, but I think the likes of Enzo Deligny in the Red Bull livery will get a lot of support, as will the Dutch teams Van Amersfoort and MP Motorsport. Right, times coming in thick and fast now in the collective test yesterday. In the first one, the quickest time was a 1:30.9 set by Rafa Kamara. We're at a 1:31.2, so we're into the business end of things now. We're really starting to see the times go down. Remember, this is for what row of the grid they're going to start on. Nikhil Bora has just come across the line to do a 1:31.2. Enzo Deligny, one of the rookies, if their number down the left-hand side of your screen is highlighted blue, that means they're a rookie. Here goes a orange MP car of Valerio Rinicella running wide, pushing a little too hard coming into the final 2 corners of the circuit, and that's going to see him run wide, and that's going to disrupt that lap and disrupt the next lap as well. So Valerio Rinicella running a little bit too wide through that section of the circuit. We see that happening several times. Pedro Claro said to me, we have the pace to challenge the likes of Rafa Kamara and Prema Racing. Can he go and do that on this lap? Let's see him coming across the line. Well, yes, almost. He's certainly beating those guys, not quite beating MP though. P2 for him. However, going quickest is James Wharton. It's not the Prema car, well, it's the Prema car going quickest. Rafa Kamara down in 15th. It's not the Prema car of Kamara going quickest, it's James Wharton that's going quickest. Here he comes round the final corner. Rafa Kamara ahead of him. Here they come up to the line now. Where will Kamara go? Let's see. Well, Kamara's gone P2, Wharton has gone P1. They're split by 0.3 of a second. Prema can take a deep breath now, because for a minute their championship leader was sitting on the 15th row of the grid, but now they have their 2 drivers on the front 2 rows. Enzo Deligny in 3rd place, running very well so far. He currently sits as top rookie. Nikhil Bora would be 8th at worst on the grid for the first race. Pedro Claro would start in the top 10, but John Bennett, the new driver, has just gone P4. What a start this would be. Row 4 on the grid. You got to remember, this is his first ever time driving this car. John Bennett, what a superb performance he's putting in. MP Motorsport getting some support there as well, and they're doing a great job so far. They're in the top 10 with Nikhil Bora. Here come Prema Racing, but John Bennett, I've got to say, stealing the show for me so far. 5th in the GB3 Championship, as I said. And this might convince him to stick around for the rest of the season if he can go and put points on the board straight away. Ivan Dominguez for Van Amersfoort Racing. We spoke to Danielle Gale yesterday, their team manager. She was very happy with what they're doing. She said they've got a lot of guests coming this weekend. Can Ivan Dominguez put on a show for them? 4th place for him so far. Enzo Deligny goes P3. Rafa Kamara goes P2. 0.2 of a second between them. Now, a lot of people going quicker, including the likes of Pedro Claro, who is now P5, Ivan Dominguez 4. You can see the green sectors coming in to the left, so Carrasquedo going quicker, Edgar Pierre going quicker, Noah Stromstead down in 14th place, but I think we're about to see an improvement. Nikita Bedrin wasn't with us last time, but on the fringes of the top 10, he's gone into 6th place. That will put him row 6. This is the place he made his FRECA debut for Monolith Racing last year. got a 5th place on debut. Right, Pedro Claro, P5 so far, but I think we're about to see that change. Here he comes round the final 2 corners now. This the run round the banking. You've done everything you can do by this point. This is flat out round here now, and Pedro Claro up to the line. Where will this put him on the grid? He's P5 so far. As he comes across the line, he goes P3. That's a great performance from Pedro Claro, but there are still 4 minutes to go in this session. There are still times for things to change. Jesse Carrasquedo Jr. has just put himself further up the order. He's gone into P10. An improvement from the number 33, who needs a breakthrough performance in his season, really. Right, we pick up the new driver, John Bennett. 8th place, but I think he's about to improve. Let's see. John Bennett with nothing to lose, really, but he wants a top 10. That's what he said yesterday. He's going for a top 10 finish. I don't think we're going to see him get into the top 10 on this lap. Well, let's see. He would improve, actually, if he's a second back. So if he could be within 7/10, that could put him in the top 5. John Bennett's coming round the final corner. This might be enough to put him in the top 5. Let's see. He's gone slower through the second sector. If he can improve through the final sector, he might improve. Here he comes up to the line now. Well, he does improve. He goes up a further position. John Bennett continuing to put in brilliant times here. His first European race, and John Bennett firing himself up the order. This is really impressive stuff from John Bennett, used to racing on the British scene, now getting into the European scene, and he's starting to look comfortable straight away. John Bennett's looking at home in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Right, Rafa Kamara has been almost unbeatable this season. Is that trend going to continue? The other drivers need to start responding, otherwise Rafa Kamara could very quickly put one hand on this title. He's 60 points clear. That's a statement to start this season, and he told me yesterday he wants to keep that going. He wants 2 more wins. He's only 3 away from matching the all-time record. Rafa Kamara around the final corner. Can he get himself onto provisional pole position? Here he comes up to the line now. Yes, he can. 129.293, and that's what 923 rather. And Rafa Kamara has just got on to provisional pole position there. Here comes John Bennett, well, James Wharton next along. He's currently in P2. He's only 0.02 of a second back is James Wharton. John Bennett up to the line next. Where can he go? He goes to P6. That's really good stuff from John Bennett. Up another position. Pedro Claro coming down now, improving on this lap. Currently in P4, just looking down, we're getting on to what would be the final laps. It's 92nd lap, so this is going to be their final chances to improve. Noah Stromstedt, we haven't seen much from him, but I think we're about to see something from him now. He looks like he could improve and fire himself up the standings. Keep an eye on the name of Noah Stromstedt to the left of screen, and Enzo Deligny. Let's first watch Pedro Claro. There he goes, P3. I think this is Noah Stromstedt up to the line. He's currently 13th. There he goes into 9th. So that's a good improvement, but he needs to find some more. Here comes Enzo Deligny. P4 for him so far. That would be at least an 8th place start. He will want more than that. He'll want to beat his rookie rival Pedro Claro at least, I'd say. Can't quite do it on this lap, but he's got one more chance. He's got one more chance. Nikhil Bora next. Rounds the final 2 corners. Wants to get into the top 5, which would put him top 10 overall. Nikhil Bora around the final corner. Well, he's improved sector 1, not improved sector 2. Here he comes up to the line. John Bennett is bailing into the pits. Nikhil Bora up to the line, 8th. But John Bennett, I thought, was bailing into the pits. He's not. He's continuing on, and he's gone 6th. He's the first to take the flag. So John Bennett across the line, P6. Great stuff there from John Bennett, who just hugged the wall coming round and has improved there. Great stuff from him. Here comes Pedro Claro now. So John Bennett P6 at best, Nikita Bedrin P7 at best, and then it's Bora 8th. But Pedro Claro, we're watching. James Wharton is going quicker. Can he beat Rafa Kamara? As I said, they need to start beating Rafa Kamara in this championship. Here we go. We're going to see now one of the G4 drivers up to the line, which is Cadasquedo Jr. Pedro Claro goes P3. I think Stromstead is up to the line next. Can't improve. Right, over to Prema Racing. Will we see Wharton beat Kamara? So far, it's going to be yet another provisional pole position for Kamara. Wharton only needs to find 0.02 of a second, so it doesn't matter that he's slightly slower through sector 2. Round the final corner, head down for James Wharton as he comes up to the start-finish line. Will this be enough up to the line? Yes, it will. 129.856, and that is enough for James Wharton to go to provisional pole position. A 129.856. And James Wharton has just put himself on to provisional pole position with that time. Great stuff from him. Well done to James Wharton, who is going to go to the top with that time. We just make a note now of that time because that becomes the time to beat from Wharton. And we reflect on the result at the same time. James Wharton, 67 thousandths ahead of Rafa Kamara. Pedro Claro, the best of the rookies. Well done to him, leading a great rookie fight with Enzo Deligny fourth. Ivan Dominguez will start in the top 10. I think John Bennett slightly stole the show for me there, though. What an entrance into the championship. I truly do hope he's here to stay if he's going to be putting in performances like that. Well done, John Bennett. Nikita Bedrin, P7. Nikhil Bora, P8. Noah Stromstead will be disappointed to be down in 9th place, I think. Valerio Rinicella, 10th place. Matteo De Paolo, 11th. Jesse Cadasquedo Jr. dropped to 12th on the final lap. Roman Andriolo, 13th. Edgar Pierre, 14th. Yaroslav Veselau, we didn't really mention a lot of him, but he did improve on the last lap. Marta Garcia, likewise, we didn't really see much of her in that session. 16th place for Marta Garcia. So apologies, we didn't really pick too much of her in that session. She's running on her own this weekend, so she's going to have some difficulties, really. No teammate to bounce off as we spoke to her yesterday, but Marta Garcia will do the best she can. But Pedro Claro is third. Rafa Kamara is beaten in this session, and I think that is crucial because the gap needs to start closing, and the man to try and close that gap down is James Wharton, this man here, who goes through to take provisional pole position in that session. A well done to James Wharton. It would be his second pole position if he can do it. But now we hand over to the next group of drivers. But for now, James Wharton, provisional pole position. And if he can stay there, it would be the second time we see him on pole position in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Well, a well done to James Wharton. Of course, we saw him there, race 2 at Hockenheim, and it really didn't go well for him. After that, he'll be hoping to make up for that. But James Wharton, who's had a real up and down season. He had that DNF at Hockenheim race 2, a DNS, where he didn't start because of the crash he had on the build-up to race 1 at Spa. But if it weren't for those two, the championship might be a lot closer, because any time he's finished a race, James Wharton, he's been on the podium. But now we turn our attention to the other drivers. These are the drivers in Group B, so 2nd, 4th, 6th in the championship, so on. We'll take to the track next. You can see Tuukka Tapanen in the number 8 car, the first of our drivers there, one of the Ferrari Driver Academy members. Zach David, who was on the podium last time. And Ugo Gachukwu, who I think will get a lot of support in the Papaya. No Dutch drivers for us there, but we spoke to him in the paddock show yesterday, and I think just due to the colour of his car, there's a lot of Lando Norris fans over here in the Netherlands, as there is Max Verstappen fans. So Enzo Deligny, no doubt, in his Red Bull Junior livery, would have been getting a lot of support in that session. And I think in this one, Ugo Gachukwu will get a lot of support. While we're talking F1 there, we mentioned Lando Norris. We've got to say huge congratulations to some of our alumni drivers. Joshua Dirksen on the podium at Imola. What a fantastic result that was to see. Gabriele Mini on the top step of the podium at Monaco as well. The Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine alumni are absolutely killing it, aren't they? We've got Paul Aron currently leading the way in the Formula 2 Championship. We've got Gabriele Mini leading the way in the Formula 3 Championship. And Kaz Havercourt, who became the first Dutch driver to win around this circuit here last year with a Dutch team as well in Van Amersfoort Racing. We spoke to him in Paddock Live yesterday, a bit unannounced as well. We caught him out by surprise whilst he was sat in his new Porsche car as well. Now races in the Porsche Super Cup Championship. He stood on the top step of the podium at Monaco on the same day Gabriele Mini did as well. Those two, of course, were once fighting for podium positions at Monaco in FRECA, and he's leading the rookie standings in the Porsche Super Cup. So currently we have FRECA alumni leading 3 different championships across all 3 support series in the Formula 1 paddock, and I think that is a fantastic advert for this series and what the drivers are doing. As we build up to the 75th race, this is going to be race number 65 when we go green at the end of today. And with that, it's nice to look back on all the memories that we have had in this series so far. Race 75 is coming up very, very shortly for us, but this will be race number 65 for us. And what memories we've had so far with that so far. 18 different winners. Will we have a 19th one? Well, let's find out. We've had 21 different pole sitters during that time. Let's see if there'll be a 22nd. So far, if James Wharton's to stay there, that record will not extend any further, but there's certainly a chance it can be broken if a 129.856 is to be beaten by some of the drivers in this session. Let's go through who's in this session then. We've got Ugo Ugachukwu, the McLaren Junior, Hoang Dat Soya, the Vietnamese driver, Nico Lacorte, the Alpine Academy driver who we mentioned with Gabriele Mini going well, winning. Jack Doohan out in the car at Canada, albeit for a couple of laps with the weather halting proceedings over there. And Kush Maini also out in the F1 car for Alpine at the Red Bull Ring this week as well. It has really inspired him to go and do better. Tuka Tapanen, the Ferrari Driver Academy member, is in the 8. Kanato Lee, who is out racing in other series in the build-up to this. He was out racing GB3 recently, which, speaking to his team, has said it's really built up his confidence, actually. Sandro Giusti, the Williams Driver Academy member, carrying a new crash helmet, is in the number 10. Sauber Academy member Leonard Buhler, 14. Brando Badua, associated with McLaren himself, number 15. Zach David is in the 20. Nandavud Binimbakti carries a 4-place grid drop for that incident we saw at Spa, which involved him. So he will go back 4 places, regardless of where he qualifies. Teofil Nile, 44, Ricky Liu, 66, and Enzo Peugeot, Evan Gilter. Giovanni Maschio comes off the back of one of his best results. He's had his best qualifying result and best overall result this season. Clear improvements at RPM. And speaking to former driver Pierre-Louis Chauvet, who is working with the team, and the likes of Giovanni and Edgar Pierre, they've seen a real improvement from him this season, which has been great to see. And as we talk about alumni drivers, I think whilst we've got a bit of time as well, it's one thing we could talk about is for those of you fans getting ready to watch the 24-hour of Le Mans next week. Just talking to the guys about how the DTM drivers are going to be making their way straight to Le Mans to do their drivers briefing this evening, and then get back in time for the race tomorrow. But of course, we've got drivers out there currently practicing, getting ready to race in the 24-hour Le Mans. They've once raced in this series, and we wish them all the best of luck. So we did talk about drivers. We've got leading Formula 2, Formula 3, Porsche Super Cup rookies, but we've got drivers currently racing over in the 24-hour Le Mans, some of them for the very first time. Well, all of them, I think, for the very first time, and we wish them all the best. So if you're going to be watching it, then look out for Maceo Capieto for Proton competition in LMP2, Alex Quinn, AO by TF in LMP2, Lorenzo Flusha for Cool Racing in LMP2, our 2021 champion who did the double, of course, as well around here, Gregoire Saucy, United Autosports, LMGT3, and Esteban Masson as well for the Acodis ASP team in LMGT3, the all-new LMGT3 class as well. 5 FRECA alumni drivers, and we wish them all the best. It would have been 6 alumni and current drivers if Dorian could have been there, but I'm sure that will change in the future when she's back. But a good luck to those drivers, and it just shows once again the opportunities presented to these drivers. You are watching the future, is that rain on the screen, of motorsport in this championship. Rain is falling on the circuit, isn't it? It's only light, but it's going to make a difference, and that could consolidate the time that we saw set earlier of Wharton there. Could that consolidate his pole position time? A 1:29.856, possibly. Well, let's see. We're building up. We're not going to see any sort of respectable times until another couple of minutes. Let's see what they do across the line now. In fact, here they come straight away. 1:31.048 for Taponen. They need to get times in fast now, because if that is rain is going to continue further or build further, then the times need to come in quickly. Taponen sends the first benchmark for us, a 1:31.048. Giusti second, Peugeot goes third. There is Giusti in the red and black ART. Zach David fourth, Evan Gilter fifth. Ugo Chukwu is seventh, as Nandavud Binambakti goes sixth. Ugo Chukwu eighth, Huangdat Soya ninth, Lenabula 10th, Teofil Nile 11th, Brando Badua 12th, Maschio Liu, and then Kanato Lei is in 15th. Round the final 2 corners comes Brando Badua. Caught up with him earlier, seemed very happy with how things are going. Here he comes up to the line now, Brando Badua. He's the last one to put a respectable time on the board, and that's going to put him up to P7. Oh, but it's looking like it's getting tricky. I think down that part of the circuit it's raining, and down this part of the circuit it isn't. Turn 1 looks tricky. Round here, you wouldn't know about it. Look at that, it looks absolutely fine there. From the commentary position I'm in, which doesn't look at the circuit, it's hard for me to judge, but I can tell you, it doesn't look like down this part of the circuit it's raining, but it looks like down the turn 1 it is. Right across the line, 1:30.284. Giusti has gone second. Tuka Taponen there, showing us what it's like on the limit. He is currently leading the way, 7 thousandths of a second behind is Giusti. Remember, regardless if they can beat that time from Wharton, the battle is still on, but it looks like it could be challenged really heavily. Taponen, 1:30.277, Giusti, 1:30.2, so they're only 4 tenths away from that time now. Evan Gilter is third, Zach David is fourth, Ugo Chukwu is P5. And we still have just under 6 minutes to go, and we're improving even further on this lap. Fans certainly enjoying it, as FRECA fans of all ages enjoying the session there. Hello to you as well. Good to see you, fans of all ages. As I said, this is going to be one of the events, I think, where we get a huge amount of support. And if you are going to be here tomorrow, you can meet and greet the drivers as well. Fantastic to see. Evan Gilter making his way down, winner at the Red Bull Ring. His teammate just behind him, and they're improving even further. They just need to find 4 more tenths of a second to be on the provisional pole. And Tuka Taponen not quite able to do that, but he is solidifying a front row start here. Is that going to be safe, though? Here comes Evan Gilter round the final corner now. Can he challenge as he comes up to the final corner? He looks like the one that's going to be the biggest one to challenge here. Gilter goes to P4, so not quite in the end. Kenato Lee on a really good lap here. but he's just through the second sector, maybe struggling, but I think he's going to improve from 8th. Watch the name of Kanato Lee to the left-hand side of screen. We'll see him coming through the start-finish line very shortly. Here he comes, round the final corner. I'm interested to see where this puts him because it was a really good first sector, and he's got a toe down the start-finish straight as well. Kanato Lee up to the line now, stays 8th place for the time being, so struggled through the last sector, sadly. Kanato Lee stays 8th. Giusti, though, has gone quicker through the first sector. Conditions may be halting the guys in this session ever so slightly, as we saw an improvement there from Brando Badua. That's put him into P6. Giusti improving in the number 10. Just running ever so slightly wide, but I tell you what, that's a really unconventional corner. There's no real racing line through there. You can take all sorts of lines as Giusti 2/10 off. We're not seeing drivers as we did at, say, Hockenheim, where they were backing off one lap and then going for it the second lap. All the drivers can do in the first group, like James Wharton, is watch on now and see if his time is beaten or who's going to join him on the front row. Giusti's going slower through the second sector, and you can see the only driver improving on this lap, apart from Giusti, is Maschio. As he comes across the line, it's going to be no improvement from Giusti, and I can tell you no one else really is improving. That's Maschio is now not improving. It's I think drivers are beginning to maybe go through that back off stage here and building up to one more run at this. And you can see the number 10. That's drivers getting ready to drive back. That's Matteo De Paolo, who was in the first session, getting ready to drive back round to the paddock area. So we'll see them. They're just going to get ready to drive the cars back round as more young fans watching on. I'm sure there you go. I'm sure we'll get ready to come and meet the drivers later. It's an open and friendly paddock, and will be great to see. It's great to see so many fans coming in. Right, Tappanen has just gone purple through the second sector. A good first sector for him. An even better second sector. It wouldn't be enough, I don't think, to challenge Wharton, but it would be enough to just extend his gap over Giusti. And he's come across the line, and that's exactly what he's done, a 1:30.105 for Tappanen. What about Evan Gilter, currently 4th, which would put him 8th on the grid. He will want to get at least 2nd place here, I think. This place, the toughest to overtake, so Gilter will know every place is absolutely crucial. He's come across the line, P4 for the time being. Enzo Peugeot, P6. Can he improve even further? Teofil Nile has gone to 8th place. He's improved on that lap as well. No other improvements currently so far. This is going to be their last chance to do it now. We'll keep a very close eye on the sector times. And Tuukka Tappanen is not improving on this lap. He's going quite significantly slower. I think he has said to himself that that will be enough. It looks like James Wharton will start from pole position later from Tuukka Tappanen, unless anyone in this session can pull something out of the bag. But we still have places to be gained. And with that position, rows on the grid to be made up as well. Just having a look through sectors. Nico Lecorte is improving. I'm sure people following track action with live stream at the same time, when that catches up, they'll realise that they were a part of that. There are big screens around as well. Nandavud Bidam Bhakti coming through the final corner for what will be the final time now. Nico Lecorte is the only one improving, and the rain looks like it's falling slightly through the final corner as well. Here he comes up to the line. Leonard Bula did improve on that final lap. Nandavud Bidam Bhakti, P10, but he will take a 4-place grid drop, so it will be 24th on the grid for him. Up to the line comes the Kick Motorsport driver of Huangdat Soya, 14th in the session. Here we go, up to the line. I don't see any green sectors, people taking the flag. What about Ugo Chukwu? Well, a respectable first sector, but they're dealing with tough conditions now. Let's see what he can do through the second. He only needs to find just under 2/10 to try and gain a place. Oh, but he's struggling, and there we go. Conditions have caught him out. Well, he absolutely went for it on that final lap, and Ugo Chukwu finds himself into the gravel coming down to turn 11. Well, gave it everything on the final lap, didn't he? They were dealing with tough conditions, and Ugo Chukwu has gone into the gravel. He's going to start this one from P6, and the grid wasn't going to change anyway. I don't think that yellow flag being out has made any difference at all. But Ugo Chukwu, in just trying to throw everything he had at this, has found himself into the gravel. A shame for him to end the session that way, but he's just locking up the fronts there, coming into turn 11, just pushing slightly too hard. They were dealing with tough conditions as well. Just giving it everything, wasn't he, on the final lap? Full send into turn 11, but found himself in the gravel. He had a good time on the board, and I think that's influenced his decision to just go for it, basically. Kept it out of the barriers, so there won't be too much repair work to do to that car, just some gravel to dig out. But let's go through the results and how it will stand. So Wharton will be provisional pole, will be pole position. Tappanen will start alongside. Giusti second in that session, so row 2 will be Kamara and Giusti. Row 3 will be Clero and Ugo Chukwu. Row 4 will be Deligny and Gilter, and then it will be David and Dominguez. Bennett will be row 6 with Peugeot. We'll go through the rest of this group as it is. Badua 7th, Niall 8th, Lee 9th place, and then it was Binham Bhakti 10th, Liu 11th, Lacorte 12th, Maschio 13th, Sawyer 14th, Bula in 15th. So Bennett will be on row 6 with Peugeot, Bedrin on row 7 with Badua, row 8 will be Bora and Niall, row 9 will be Stromsted and Lee, Binham Bhakti will be on row 10 with Rinicella. So it'll be James Wharton on row 1 on the grid with Tuka Tappanen, a second pole position for the Ferrari Driver Academy. Well, for the Prema Racing driver, shall I say. Ugo Chukwu, though, third in this session, the McLaren Junior. Great session for him. Ended in the gravel, but he'd done all the hard work by that point anyway. He'd got himself a really good result, and could do with some good points, really. Sits 17th in the championship, yet to have his real breakthrough performance, really, yet to get a podium, so he's given himself a good chance to go and amend that here. Second place for Alessandro Giusti. Good results for Alessandro as well. Sandro yet to get on the podium this season himself, so Sandro Giusti will hope that this gives him a chance from P4 on the grid to change that. And then out front, Tuka Tappanen will start on the outside of the front row later, the Ferrari Driver Academy member. It will be Prema Racing versus R-Race GP. Tuka Tappanen, a chance to go and get his first race win. Both of the winners last year came from P2 on the grid. Will we see that trend continuing? He'll have to beat the BRDC Rising Star member of James Wharton to his inside. And the race later on will be at 45 minutes past 5 local time. We hope you can join us then. Two great races here last year. Joshua Dirksen gained 17 places here last year, and we crowned a champion here last year. So we hope you can join us for what should be some great action.